everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity 2. Here we are, outside the Kraken's Eye, in Port Margé, as you would expect after the last session. Fedoran been given some divine advice, and he's taken it, because his progress can only be described as stuttery at best. 2 persons were in the Kraken's Eye that might be able to assist us on our travels, we were told by Berath. And indeed, they, because Berath is 2 people, were right. Of course, a familiar face, Nadog, making his return, and he's a familiar face in more ways than one, because you'll notice I've imported a character portrait that's going to be familiar to you guys if you saw Baldur's Gate. He looks very similar to his long-lost second cousin twice removed from an alternative realm, doesn't he? So he's been brought forth to assist. So before we check out the second character I've created, let's check out Nadog and see what he's going to bring to the table. So let's take a look at him. He's a dual class character, a multi-class. He's a fighter, a devoted fighter, which means that basically he can only use one weapon, but for increased penetration and critical hit with that weapon. Perfect, because there's only one weapon that would grace this man's hands, and that is a battle axe. Scratch that. 2 battle axes, because he's going to be dual wielding, folks. He's a man of death and destruction. So there's his stats, a strong guy, fairly dexterous. His accuracy is not what it should be, maybe, but hey ho, he focuses more on power than accuracy. Fairly intelligent, and resolve is kind of average, but we'll see how that pans out. In terms of his active skills, he's going to be the mechanics expert, and passive, he's going to be the man of intimidation. Naturally, an intimidating presence, as we'll soon see, has already come into effect. Okay, so, in terms of the view that I have for this guy, and the build that we'll be kind of prodding him towards, for however often we use him, is a man that likes to kill things. A man that likes to kill things quickly, and gets into some kind of a bloodlust, just hacking things down, anything that moves. And to achieve that, there are skills in the Barbarian tree, such as Bloodstorm, which quickens his attack speed. As many free hits as possible, or quick hits as possible, is also the name of the game. So something like Crushing Blow, which gives us a full attack on a kill. Something like Bloodthirst, which gives a instant recovery bar refresh on a kill, all aiming to make him very, very quick in his attacks and very deadly. The fighter modal, Mob Stance, which again, it gives an instant full attack on a kill. So combining all of those kind of things together would make him a pretty fast attacker. Dual wielding with those axes, that could be quite a lethal combination. So that's the kind of build we're pushing towards. We'll see how that pans out. But what he's got so far, well, he will be utilising his battle axe proficiency, which is Bleeding Cut. It makes him slower to attack, but he's got 2 axes, so that should hopefully help with that. And it applies a nice DOT, a bleed, if he activates this with his axes. He likes to make people bleed, baby. So we'll be trying that out. He's got Hale and Hardy, he's a mountain dwarf, resistant to constitution effects, fast runner we've picked also, making him a little bit quicker, and he can disengage with a bit less of an issue. And second wind are standard abilities. He's got a core carnage barbarian ability, which means that every time he's dealing damage to enemies, enemies nearby, suffer AoE damage. So that's going to be quite handy. And then the skills that we've picked to start with: Frenzy, extra action speed for less deflection, frenzied state, hacking and slashing. That should also help a little bit with the actual bleeding cut slowdown to counteract that. Constant recovery, typical fighter fare. Devoted gives him the extra penetration and critical hit. Discipline barrage gives him an aware buff to help with concentration. Also helps to convert grazes into hits. Again, will help towards killing things as quickly as possible. And knockdown, I had a point to spare at level 1. It's the only one that really fit the bill. So gives him a bit of a breathing space, I suppose, if he needs it. So that's his build so far. It's nowhere near complete at level 3, and he won't come into his own until you know, a few more levels time and he gets some more of those handy talents that we're kind of craving for to get him to be killing things as quickly as possible. But for now, and he's an extra pair of hands, and we need that. So we'll see how he pans out. His penetration, or deflection rather, is pretty low. We're going to be very, very careful with that. So yeah, that is good old Nadog making his return. So I did quickly mention about his intimidation factor, and he's already had effect because he's bargained with the party that he will come along, but there has to be a few conditions first. First of all, he's taken this from Adair, the Amulet of Health, which Adair wasn't wearing at the time, giving him a bit extra health. He's also pilfered from Godin's finger a ring of minor protection. Again, just giving him a few more extra protections and buffs that he might well need to stay up. And he's also pilfered from Godin off his hands the Killer's Gloves, giving extra crit damage with weapons. So yes, already working his intimidating charms. And I've said dual wielding those axes. It's going to be great to see how he pans out as a character. I'm quite looking forward to playing him. So that's good old Nadog in a nutshell. So I'm sure you're all more intrigued to find out about the second character that we have brought into our midst. And that, my friends, is, if you're on the Discord server you will know, but if you're not, well, let's introduce him to you. It is a character by the name of Remgren. On the Discord server, I asked for suggestions for a potential second created character, somebody from a previous LP, any character from a previous LP that might fit in nicely into our party, and somebody suggested good old simulation man Mr. Green, President of Kenya, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Football Manager Supremo, Administrator of a few hospitals, Mayor of a town. He's been there and he's done it. He's been all over the damn place. Well, this is the craziest rendition of Mr. Green yet. Can't call him Mr. Green, so we played the old anagram game. Mr. Green, aka Remgren, a level 3 druid. So let's have a look at him. Of course, he is a green character, aka nature godlike. That's who he is. He's a druid. Mr. Green likes all things green, plants and stuff, so he is an ancient druid. And he hails from the archipelago of the Deadfire. He's right at home here, and he's a drifter. Drifts from job to job, apparently. Drifts between universes as well. So that's him. We'll take a look at his stats in more detail on what his kind of traits and his class bring to the table, on the kind of build that we have in mind with him based on his personality as all things green. Might is useful for him. He's a strong individual in terms of his spell casting. He's a spellcaster. Constitution wise, not the best, but he is a druid after all, and wearing robes. Dexterity is kind of, just about above average. Perception, he's very perceptive. Druids, you would imagine, are in tune with nature and stuff, so highly perceptive. Intellect, he's fairly clever too. And resolve, well, that's a bit lacking. So that's his little statistics. In terms of his skills, we're looking for stealth. I see him as a character that can quite easily blend into the shadows, use nature and everything around him to sort of meld into the background. So stealth is the order of business for this man. And in terms of his passives, history. He's an ancient druid. He's been here for a long time, hundreds of years. So history will be his strong suit. And that might be it, actually, for him. Maybe just focus on history. So what do we have in mind for Mr. Remgren then? How is he going to synergize, and what's he going to bring to the party? Well, he is an ancient druid. This is a new subclass for this game, and it gives, rather fittingly, a +1 power level to all beasts and all plant power levels. He's all about green, man. Plants, animals, he loves it all. So all power levels for beast spells and plant spells are boosted just due to the fact that he's an ancient. Oh no, is that a permanent effect? It might be. Let me just check this for a second. Yeah, that's an instant effect. That is just the nature of the business. There's no prerequisites. So yeah, +1 to power level with beast and plant spells. So that's the first thing to note with him. The second thing to note with him is beasts. Where is it? Where is it? Nature Godlike. He will get another power level if he's under the effect of any might, constitution or dexterity inspiration. So if he was to cast on himself one of those, or say our priest was to cast one of those inspirations, he would then get an extra +1 power level, which means he would get a +2 power level with all beast and plant spells. Yeah, so you can see how that's shaping up. Bit of synergy there, and he could be casting, you know, above his level with some decent spells. So that's the kind of synergy. In terms of the spells, well, it's all plant and beast spells. But where he's going to fit in especially early is taking care of those beasts. In the dig site there's panthers. Let's get them under our control. Why not? Charm beast, utilising their link to nature to charm beasts. Perfect. So that could be a good start. We've also got a summoning spell with him, which is absolutely perfect. So extra meat shields, whether charmed or summoned, are going to be great for this particularly tough early stage. But where this build is going to come into its own is by DOTs. He's going to be the one that softens up the enemy with their DOT spells, cast at hopefully increased power levels. So we're looking at things like Insect Swarm, which is a DOT attack with insects that does raw damage, which is great because there's no protection against raw damage. You can combine that and stack that later on with Plague of Insects, for instance. You've also got spells such as there's a Wicked Briars, which does penetration damage in an AoE effect. So all of these DOT type spells can be stacked, can be cast, and can do some serious damage to the enemy. So he's going to be our DOT specialist / beast master / summoner for the time being. And he can also serve as a healer if needs be, if our priest goes down or is struggling, because spells such as Moonwell are really useful. Kind of regenerative healing spell that increases defences as well. So I'm really looking forward to this character also. Really looking forward to see how he pans out. And if people get too close to him, he can spirit shift into a boar to protect himself, which is a nice handy little spirit shift because he gets a bit of a regeneration out of it. So there you go. That's his spells. Talon's Reach, probably not going to use that, but we had to pick a spell, and that was the only one that's really stood out as decent. Most of our level 1 spells will probably be cast with Charming Beast and Nature's Vigour. So there you go, there is our 2 characters. He comes with a quarterstaff, because there's nothing more druidic than a staff, right? So there you go. He won't be using that very often though. So there are 2 new additions, and I now look forward with bated breath to see how they crack on in the dig site. Now before we go rushing off to the Engwithan dig site, what we're actually going to do is actually go to Upoho Waro Woods first. There's a couple of things here, but we're using it as a bit of training. We've got 2 new characters in our midst, and before we go into the big leagues, we're just going to have a bit of a warm-up first. So we'll see what lies here, and if it's a fight, then we can sort of flex our muscles and just ease our new companions in. Thick woodlands spread out to the east of Port Marge, slowing your travel. Birds flitter above you and insects drone incessantly. The path eventually gives way to a game trail, then to no path at all. Oh yeah, and he's going to be very good at survival naturally, because survival is all about, you know, utilising nature and all that kind of stuff. You find a curiously marked tree, the bark gouged away in a pattern. The striations seem to run upward from left or right to left, just shy of vertical. Examine the markings. Who's got the highest survival at the minute? Actually, Adair's got the best survival at the moment, so we'll utilise Adair for now. Adair examines the gashes in the wood and then plucks a tuft of hair from the side of the tree. Wild boar, he says. Oh, perfect. We get to try that charm beasts out. Okay, that sounds good. Look at this, says Adair as he taps the tree. A sigil has been lightly carved into the wood, so faint as to be almost imperceptible. We cautiously continue onwards, pressing into the forest, clothes damp with the humidity and the water dripping from the trees above. A quiet rustling in the underbrush draws your attention northward, deeper into the forest. It's obviously boar, so we'll see if we can kind of hide in the undergrowth, and like we did with the those creatures whose name escapes me, we'll get the upper hand, hopefully, a chance to ambush. Okay, so we're ducking behind a log. The sounds are getting nearer. Through a gap in the foliage, you make out a tall island armour standing among a small sounder of wild boars. Is that the colloquial term for boars? Sounder? Matted copper hair hangs over his features, and boar hides drape his frame. Despite his presence, the swine seem entirely at ease. Now, do we... this is a tough one. We could play it friendly, and if he attacks us, he has the boars on his side. We could try to charm the boars up front, but it seems a bit premature to start doing attacking actions. I'm afraid we're going to regret this. Greetings, Fedoran crying out from behind the log. I've got this, I've got this under control. The man stands abruptly, spinning on you, his staff raised as if ready to strike. Akira, then who are you? Okay, term of agreement. What are you here? The Hawaiian language thickens his accent. That wasn't an unfriendly greeting, was it? No. Okay. He's only got 2 boars. Yeah, this should be a problem. Adair perks up at the sight of the boars, alternately imitating their grunts and chuckling. Only at length, in what appears to be a heel-dragging afterthought, does this attention turn to the strange man in their midst. Dirt darkens the folds of the man's skin. His lips curl over jagged teeth. He waves the stick at you.
No, never talk. Just go. Leave this forest. Go leave these islands. Go return from where you've been.
His Adairan is halting, the language thick in his mouth. We've got our own druid here. Perhaps a bit of druid-to-druid bonding might smooth things over. I mean you no harm. Just a good old chat will suffice, and then we'll be on our way.
Said as if a word never hurts a person. You go. Speak quickly, then. Your words disturb this place.
I was just seeking passage through the forest, is all.
No, your sort always want. This forest is not yours. This land is not yours. Go, leave.
Well, you see, you may have noticed this rather large Adra statue running rampant through this here island, and I am hunting that statue, which happens to be a god. And if I am not able to complete my mission, who's to say that your island will not be spared his wrath? The man frowns and pulls a leather-wrapped pouch from within his belongings. Hands shaking, he hands it to you. Fedora's words once again, working miracles. He's given us a necklace, a wise teeth necklace, giving us intellect, history, and insight. Sounds like something for Remgren already.
Then go, take this. They protect you if you speak true. They tear out your throat if no.
Yeah, and that's the confirmation that perhaps Fedoran won't wear it, because a bit of intellect for Fedoran will be quite handy. But the threat of them ripping his throat out, perhaps Remgren, I have something for you. And we're allowed passage. Oh, would you credit that? Look at that. There you go, buddy. Quite a nice teeth necklace of the wise variety. Teeth from an Amawa sage. Interesting. But there you go, get a nice closer look at his actual character. rather than just the portrait, of course. Tried to match the portrait as closely as possible. I don't think I've done too bad a job. And there's Nadog. Quite difficult to match that as closely as possible, but again, I don't think it's too bad an effort. Look at him, he's just there, he's itching for a fight already. Look at him. Arr, have at ya.
Oh, very nice. Indeed.
Right, come on then, let's crack on. Passing on through, thank you. Gods to hunt down, you know. Are any of these interactable? I don't think so. These purple flowers? Well, what we were wanting really was a bit of a fight to sort of wet our whistle, get ourselves trained up, but we won't force the issue for no reason, of course. Right, there's an old battleground here. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be one of those lootable situations rather than, yeah, one of these searchable things rather than an actual battleground where we start having, you know, big fights. But ancient corpses in a field. Site of a battle long ago. Something might be salvageable here. And here we go. 24 hours worth of searching. After bloody Beraf has told you to get a move on. Oh, it's fine. You spend 4 hours searching a battlefield. No problem. Ooh, some brigandine armour, which may come in handy for Nadog, because I did mention his deflection was lacking. So that's an increase of 2 to his armour rating. We'll see. I was just a bit concerned of the recovery time with him. Obviously he's got the axe as well, the axe special, which slows him down. So you've got to kind of find a trade-off for the recovery time with the armour. Some motley coins. Got some baby pearl, 19 of them. Keep searching. Okay, so not quite as many things as in the ruins over out west. And so the moment of truth is upon us as we now head out to the Ingwithan dig site for a second time. Only this time we have a slightly more filled out party. So Remgren's perception is going to be really, really helpful because we were lacking perception skill across the party, and his perception is going to really help us spot any traps as soon as possible, because apparently traps can be very deadly in this game, and as you will know, I don't reload, so if we lose a party member to a trap, that will be it. By the end of this game we could end up with a party full of custom-made characters if I kill everybody off.
Where there's a...
And he's got 2 mechanics, so we'll use 1 lockpick, of course we shall use it.
There's a way.
And that gives us some potions and some golden sewels, so we'll stick them in the stash for now, and that's success. First locked chest opened by Nadog, and of course Nadog being Nadog, one of the drawbacks of having him in the party, I suppose, is that when Nadog opens things and when Nadog collects things, Nadog generally keeps them if they are useful to him, and even though Adair perhaps is lacking a little bit of potions of minor healing, it would be useful for Nadog to share them, at least one with him. Nadog is like, no. I opened it.
Well, of course.
I keep it. You can have the coins for the party.
Well,
coin purse, but I'm having the potions. And he says it in a tone that brooks no argument. Alright, good stuff. So I noticed this when I was creating my characters, because I was considering not respecking Adair, but certainly re-equipping him for the time being, because his deflection is a little bit on the low side, and obviously he was
as you wish,
struggling to tank as the sole tank. I think he would, especially as a two-handed tank early on, he will benefit from other assistance, which he's now getting, to be fair, so maybe we won't do this. But I was contemplating giving him the sword that we picked up in the last session.
Well,
the only issue was we didn't pick it up. So that's something that we need to remember to do right now, actually. So let's just retrace our steps. And there was a locked chest in this particular dungeon somewhere, I recall, so we'll have to remember where that was. I think it was out this side. But yeah, Adair
Hey.
Thankfully. Going to take control of this situation. Mind you, Nadok can't use that, so... But yeah, this sword would be really helpful for Adair in the early stages, whilst he gets more talents and abilities to kind of make him more effective as a two-handed tank. So I didn't want to respec. I didn't want to re-equip him. I was kind of being rather stubborn. Like, now, do you know what? He's two-handed, and that's the way it is. But I think I'm going to look over that and play the sensible game. This gladiator sword is one-handed, so he won't get any sort of special bonuses with this. But it does just as much damage as his two-handed sword does, and it does 2 types of damage rather than just pierce. So in that respect, we're on to a winner. Extra accuracy and penetration, we're on to a winner. Grants scrim, which means that he gets extra deflection and melee damage if he wields this with a shield. Extra, again, can't argue with that. And if we enchant it and hone and sharpen the blade, which we will, it gets him extra penetration as well. So this becomes a rather kick-ass sword, which cannot be overlooked. So we are going to sword and board him for now. And he's going to hopefully get quite a lot of additional bonuses due to that, because of the sword. So let's just take a quick look. So we've got now extra deflection. So his deflection jumps to 50 now, so he's much more tanky. Deflection, of course, meaning that he's much harder to hit. He's getting +5 from the scrim, an extra 8 now from the medium shield. So, that's a nice little boost. And of course, he does have a specialty in shields already, because that came with his build, which means that it makes him extra resistance against weapons. Most of these people don't have weapons at the moment, though. They're spirits or animals, so not quite so useful. But all in all, I think it's going to make him more tanky, which can only be a good thing when he's not got the required abilities just yet to make him proficient as a two-handed tank.
Yes?
Right, Nadog being entrusted to, and that time, this one is... Okay, so he's too low for that one. Never mind.
Well, I'll take care of it.
Never mind. So here we are. Here is the... Here is... You know what I'm going to do? Apologies. I can't remember if I did this in the last session or not. I did. I've lightened it up. But I do have to shut my blinds because I can hardly see. We're in a dark dungeon and the sun is shining outside, which I can't complain about. Because it has been rather grim this week. Raining. So I can't complain about a bit of sunshine, but it's just not ideal when you're in a dungeon that's dark. You know what I mean?
Well,
so this is going to be the true tester now as to how we perform, because this fight was too much for us. It was too much for us the first time of asking. So now,
What do you need?
we're going to see how we fare this time.
Of course.
One of the important things for us to do also is to buff as quickly as possible when we can. Right, essence anomalies. It's also important to understand how these creatures are and what kind of weaknesses they have. Now these anomalies are pretty strong, but weak to fire. If we had fire spells, that would be quite useful. Right, we can't charm these things, so instantaneously we're thinking about summoning some spawlings for extra help. But before we do any of that, we want to buff our druid with Nature's Vigour to give extra power level to beast spells and stuff. So, Nature's Vigour. And several people can benefit from that. Just run back into that if you want to. Okay, for now, he's going to get that on. As is Adair. Kind of instant cast. Let's get him back onto the required weapons and bring him back into the party. Right, there we go. And Holy Meditations, which gives us extra inspiration for resolution. Okay, well that went well. They're not coming. So we shall go to them then. Fine. We've lost some of that some of that stuff. Have we reset? Have we reset? I think we might have reset, you know. Possibly. Right, Frenzy. Let's go again. Concentration. Yeah, it's not. She's still in battle. She's still classed to being in battle. Right, in that case, summon Spawlings. Right, so Dare's taking a bit of damage so far, which is fine. Essence Anomaly, Greater Anomaly, got Will-o'-the-Wisps sort of floating on in quite slowly. Essence Anomaly. He's not got the bleed on. I don't think you can bleed spirits, to be fair, so we'll leave that off for now. Right, so for Doran, can you slicken floating apparitions? I wouldn't have thought so. So instead, we'll just go with attacking. Burn damage is good, so yeah, let's go with that. Combustible wounds. So he's frenzied for 14 seconds. Let's get him back on aware. And let's get him continuing to hack and slash. We'll have a Dare, maybe pick another one. She's cracking on there also. That's fine. Here come the Spawlings. We'll have the Spawlings go up against the Will-o'-the-Wisps just to kind of slow them down a touch. Oh, is that the wrong person I've clicked? Possibly. Nadog just taking it upon himself to go and attack a Will-o'-the-Wisp, as you do. Okay, we'll have you come here then and try and flank this creature.
Not even close.
Ooh, Dare suffering again. Greater Anomaly, Essence Anomaly. Goodness me, we're going to need don't tell me we're going to need divine intervention already here. Come on.
Let's go.
Right, so he's frenzied and disciplined, fighting a Will-o'-the-Wisp. Right, so he's got that. He should have that under control. Will-o'-the-Wisp there, and then 3 spirits. It's that Greater Anomaly that's probably causing the problem. Right, let's see if she can finish off. Is she doing Interdiction? Holy Radiance. What's happened? So Zoti's finished, and now instead she will try to finish this anomaly off with her Harvest. I'm going to try a knockdown. Don't know if it will work, but we'll see. I think he missed. In fact, we should have been doing that, to be fair. This is not good. This is not good. This is quite bad. Just keep us all up, Zoti. Keep us all up. Let's go again. That's dead. Get the weaker ones down quickly, if we can. Why are you in there? We haven't even cast our Plague of Insects yet. Casting that now.
Help here.
Come on, Adair. There we go. Nice little heal by Joti there, just helping us out. Can we soften these things up? Bit of an interdiction. Can somebody kill this thing? So he's out. I think we should give him a ranged weapon. I've just realised. Obviously that's why he's up close at the minute. I think that's probably far too dangerous. We could spirit shift him. Right. Okay, that's good. So... I mean, these fights will get quicker, my friends, when I get a bit more proficient, but I'm just very nervous about these things. Right, so Fedoran, you start attacking this creature. Adair, you keep tanking here. Let's try another knockdown if we can. Jyoti is casting something or doing something. Right, you come in there. You come over here. Now Dog is still hacking and slashing at this thing. This is still attacking that. I think this is looking good. Ooh. Did we just kill that in like real quick order? We may have done. Now Dog, second will of the wisp. On with the spalling. Look at that, look how much damage he does to the will of the wisp. Oh, he's loving it, isn't he? He's absolutely loving it. There we go, this is looking much better. Ha! Bingo! Right, well obviously that needs to be smoother. And another thing that might help speed things up eventually when I get a handle on things is AI. I think the party AI in this game apparently is actually really good. So for some of the mundane things like self-buffing discipline barrage at the start of the fight, and self-buffing frenzy at the start of the fight for him, rather than me having to do that, if we can AI that to instantly trigger when the fight starts, that just ease the burden a little bit.
No problem. Sure.
But anyway, I'm just happy that we won the fight without losing a member.
What do you need?
So let's just revel in that moment. So, I'm considering that a victory.
Okay.
I know it's only one little fight, but you know, considering what we went through in the last session and the frustration I had, I think this is much improved. Right, Brian in should be no problem for us now.
Missed.
In fact, I mean, I know he's not proficient with ranged weaponry, really, but I'm going to give him a hunting bow. Oh. In fact, I don't think there's anything wrong with spirit shifting him, to be fair. And just using him as a melee with a spirit shift. I'll have to research that. It's not something I've looked into a great deal. Rather than maybe... But I think it can't harm giving him a ranged weapon. Just maybe for if he's injured and needs to just disengage a little bit. I think it can only be a good thing.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. So Fedoran wanting to explore this particular area looks rather important. Scroll of Minor Healing, Onyx, and Lockpicks. Torches, Cannon Shot, and Fire Kelp. That's a collection of odds and sods. Alchemical ingredients.
Leave it to me.
Some murals. And a table containing a pistol, an Animancer's hat. Is that a proper hat? It looks like something you put over your face. I don't think Fedoran is impressed. Distinct lack of hats around this part of the world so far is rather disappointing. Mother of Pearl and a journal entry. It has been a stroke of unimaginable fortune to find an Adravane in such pristine condition. The essence is so concentrated here that even from the far side of the corridor the pillar's light pulses like a star. At times I almost feel as if I can sense it, like the warmth of sunlight upon my skin. We will need to reinforce the central chamber before attempting further excavations. The ruins are unstable, and Sealer's motley workforce of savages and paupers grows more fearful by the day. With the assistance of a single watcher, we could trace the essence in the primary vein and isolate those deposits worthy of extraction. I petitioned Director Castol in Nekataka for such a resource, but I am continually rebuffed. It is unthinkable that the Valiant Trading Company cannot isolate, within the vast borders of its considerable influence, a single suitable candidate. I must assume that the wretched elect woman is hoarding them for her fanciful experiments. Transportation, as if we have the time to expend on such frivolities.
Yeah. Sure.
Wow. How ironic now. Watcher stands reading your very notes. This went a bit... Looks like things went a bit wrong here. So we have explored Odorisi's workspace. The menagerie, the collapsed hall, trial of flame. Is there anything else? There's a little thing up here. I think that might be it for this particular location. Let's go have a look. Let Fedora and come forth and check this out. Frozen mid-stride, this grim figure is turned toward the colossal pillar of Adra that dominates the chamber. The ashen corpse's outstretched hand rests upon the crystal's dulled surface. Clutched tightly in the remnants of a fist is a bundle of papers, bound together by a leather cord. Several more pages are scattered on the ground at your feet.
Think that's the guy we're looking for? Sure holding on to those papers tight.
As you pull the papers free, the ashen fingers gripping them slough away, disintegrating into a fine plume of dust. Odorisi's notes. These are the notes that Chappie back in Port Marjorie wanted, the governor. Standing here by the lone figure, you are struck with a feeling of dread. The air around you, the very motes of ash and dust, all of it is stagnant and still. The feeling grows worse when you look up at the Adra and sense no energy flowing into its surface. It is as though it has been disconnected from the wheel. Maybe it's something to do with Eothas's passing
Place
through
your
here?
hand against the pillar of luminous Adra. A dim, warm light emanates from the surface, but it feels cool to the touch. Pinpricks dance along your fingers, uncomfortable, but not painful. A woman's voice, scratchy, distant, and halting, echoes in your mind.
Find your soul in him.
Oh, it's Barath again. Second time she's spoken to us. First time unofficially, of course.
You concentrate, peering into the Adra's energy as you would peer into a soul. Its inner light is blinding, but as you become accustomed to it, you perceive the core of the Adra itself, a churning mass of millions of soul fragments. With a jolt, the energy reaches out to you, laying within ruined fragments around you, breaking into incoherent shapes and dissolving to dust, falling into an infinite well of dark gray vapor. Even the ground itself disintegrates into nothingness. All that remains is the murky expanse of the in-between. The Adra pillar, and a skein of golden threads rooted in the pillar that extend far off into the distance. You focus on the threads. You catch glimpses of memories, your memories, mingled among the memories of thousands of other captive souls. The filaments begin to cohere, rapidly twining into a golden cord. With a muffled crack, the cord ripples outward in a violent wave toward the endless distance. The cord undulates over a space so vast that you lose sight of the wave before it finds its end. Then, a heavy creaking, like the sound of mountains shearing under their own weight, washes through the dull gloom of the in-between. A violent force yanks you along the cord at an incredible speed. The murk of the in-between warps erratically, as though you are observing it through an ill-ground lens. Just as quickly as you were pulled forward, you stop, suspended below a massive figure of ancient carved Adra. Like all Adra, it glimmers with energy, but the souls and memories within it are not flowing down. They churn in a vortex that burns at the heart of the statue's mass in some invisible engine. It is Aethys. The great golden cord terminates in his back, sending pulses of energy throughout his limbs as they move. He walks in long, slow strides toward a brilliant pillar of Adra far in the distance. It shines even more brightly in the in-between than Aethys. From within the teeming throng of souls, dozens of eyes look out to you. Through the cord, their collective anguish and despair push at the edge of your mind.
Help us! Please! Help us!
Their voices echo in your mind. Somewhere within their ranks, you can feel the presence of your own soul, slumbering deeper in the gyre.
I think he just reached out in general here.
You reach out to the lost souls, but the incredible power flowing through Aethys' body repulses you. Not even your Watcher powers can penetrate the massive tides of energy crashing through him. The souls sense your efforts and attempt to breach the surface of Aethys' body, but are instantly pulled back down into the deep well at the statue's heart, as though they were pried from the edge of a great precipice. Aethys' stride slows and stops. His head slowly pivots, until its great burning eyes are cast back along the cord. As his gaze meets yours, you feel an overwhelming rush of incredible joy, mingled with profound sadness. You have sensed similar anguish in lost souls, but never with this intensity. A soothing voice drifts into your mind.
It takes great bravery to venture through the in-between, even for a Watcher.
A swell of admiration radiates out from the god's heart, a force so intense that it momentarily overwhelms you.
You do not need to follow me, for their sake or your own. Something beautiful is coming. Something that will save us all.
A great light shines from Aethys' brow, so bright that even the souls within him flinch from the source, cowering in fear. Through the glare, you see Aethys' massive arm reach up to grasp the golden cord. The tether carrying energy from the Adra pillar to him, that also suspends your consciousness.
What do you mean?
The sun will yet rise, Watcher. You need only wait for its light to come.
Aethys yanks on the golden cord, pulling it from his back. The cord tears into filaments that blacken and dissolve to dust. Without pause, he turns to resume his stride toward the distant pillar of Adra, shining on the boundless horizon. You hear the souls within him cry out for just a moment, before your consciousness is snapped away from them. The in-between goes dark. For a second, you feel a mix of nausea and a sensation like spinning and falling. Then the moment ends. Your consciousness has returned to the Angwithan arena. The world is sideways, the Adra pillar upside down. You flinch at the feeling that you're standing on the ceiling. The disorientation overwhelms you and you collapse to your knees next to the luminous Adra pillar. Previously dim and flickering, the pillar now glows with a strong and steady light. You touch the Adra again, but the chill and prickling sensations you felt before are gone, replaced with a comforting warmth, like the embers of a fire that has just lost its flame.
Oh, bloody hell. Talk about an experience. As you return to the world, you feel a hand on your back.
You alright? Come on, we just got you back.
Despite his tone, you can see genuine concern in Adair's eyes. I'm fine. I'm fine. I just need perhaps to sit down a second.
Yeah, I heard you say that before. Had something to do with a 2,000-year-old lunatic talking to you in your dreams.
All right, so what happened?
Indeed, what did happen? Let's just try and make sense of what happened. Okay. Stating the simple version for not wanting to elaborate too much due to a bit of shock, fatigue after what's just happened, and wants to keep a few cards close to his chest maybe on this one, but just simply stating he saw Eothas and Eothas saw him.
He... Really? I knew it. I mean, that's great, Watcher. Ain't it?
Jyoti can barely contain herself, jumping up and down as she stumbles over her words.
What did Gon say? Is he gonna meet us? What do we do next? He charged you with a divine calling, didn't he? Just like he's done for me.
He was headed towards another pillar of what looked to be another more luminous Adra.
How hard can it be to find in a chain of thousands of islands?
I wonder what he's after, and why he's been giving me these dreams. The things I've seen, they leave a mark on your soul.
She rubs her arms despite the balmy air.
I may not know what Gon's got planned for me, but clearly he wanted me to meet you.
No problem.
Fate. Okay, so I think we're going to need a bit of time to process what the hell just happened there. I mean, in its simplistic form, we saw Eothas, we sensed the souls, we sensed our own soul within him. He spoke to us. Something is coming, something supposedly beneficial, and off he marches towards another luminous pillar of Andra. So make of that what you will, but whilst we're trying to make sense of it, sometimes the best thing to do is not to stew on things there and then, is to let your emotions settle down and perhaps stew on it, you know, a little bit later when you've got a bit more clarity behind you, you know. So we're going to plunge ourselves into more combat for the time being to busy ourselves whilst we regather our composure. Huh? Ah! Oh no. Okay, I given how tough this fight looked on paper with the various panthers and things, I had a sneaking suspicion that there had to be a way to bypass the fight. It looked too tough a fight for a low-level party. But now that I've got my new companions and stuff, I wanted to try the fight. So if there's a particular save point before we entered here, I might try that fight out. Because with a Charm Beast spell to charm all those panthers and stuff, it'd have been interesting to see how that would have panned out. I think we could have done it. Anyway, we now exit to sense several souls here, and with one character here that looks remarkably familiar. That's not Alof, is it? As the souls move past you, some turn their heads in your direction, but most seem fixated below you, on the Adra pillar beneath your feet. A few nod their heads in thanks or raise a hand to acknowledge your presence.
What do you see that I can't, Watcher?
Souls. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. They seem to be heading towards the Adra pillar.
All of them? Really?
She strokes the cage of her lantern, appearing lost in thought. Indeed they do. A small group of souls has started to cluster around you. One of them is standing a bit closer than the others and gestures for your attention. It's probably Odorisi.
Watcher, we'd like to come with you.
Oh, no, it's a dead sailor. Yeah, well, I thought you were heading towards the Adra pillar. Why aren't you going there?
We would, and we appreciate that you showed us the way, but what if the Adra goes dark again before we reach the beyond?
The other souls shuffle anxiously and look to each other, then back to you. Oh, they come to Fedoran for assistance and protection. Very well. Follow me. No harm shall come to you whilst you're in my presence.
Can I harvest the souls now?
Yes, of course. These poor things, they need guiding.
Thank you for aiding my mission, Watcher. I just knew you'd help me if I followed you.
Jyoti glides her hands in a series of motions that resemble a martial art or an intricate dance. As she slides a circle around the area, she begins swinging her lantern faster and farther from her body until an ephemeral light flares from inside. The lure is answered, and several souls change course, drifting past the lantern's cage to disappear.
Thank you, Watcher.
And so we help more innocent souls.
Yeah, sure.
Whoa, quite a few people here. Grouchy Animancer. This is Alof, yeah, Alof, Animancer, and Benessa. Well, well, well.
Yeah.
Look who it is. You start to approach the elf, but a 30-ish woman with a serious demeanour notices you and points.
You went into the ruins. Did you find survivors? In hiding, perhaps?
She looks past you at the darkened passageway, desperate, feeble, hope flickering in her eyes. No, I'm sorry. If there's any comfort, I think they died quickly.
It is not. But thank you for trying.
She lowers her head.
I take it you are going back to Port Marge, yes? Governor Clario will want to hear of this. I am sorry that we cannot accompany you, but...
I shall go with them, Benessa.
Impose yourself upon us, will you, Alof? I don't think Fedoran's quite forgiven him for his little revelation way back when, several years ago, when he informed us that after being in our party for some time, he was actually a member of the Leaden Key. Of course, we recognise who it is.
After all, the jungle can be perilous, and the beasts that were here could not have gone far.
Ak, as you say, Engferth.
Engferth, is it now? Is there something else you haven't told me?
Not much of an animancer, but he is, gods be thanked, a competent wizard.
Don't worry, I am well accustomed with his acquaintance.
Engferth knows a great many spells. At first, he even cast fire to chase away the panthers.
Until the flames nearly caught one of the tents.
Really? Yeah, I think almost speechless.
We then decided it would be better to preserve our remaining supplies, in case we ever got out.
And when the supplies ran out?
She scratches the bridge of her nose, looking concerned. The others look away to avoid further speculation.
Engferth would make a capable guide, as long as he is willing to go.
I would be happy to assist.
Ooh. Shall we tell him? Shall we spill the beans? Are we that miffed off with him? I mean, it's 5 years, a long time to have passed. He never graced our party after he made that revelation, you know. I don't think, from memory. But yeah. So what else can you tell me about this this Engferth? Shooting him a searching glance.
I don't think that's really...
Oh, I do. I'd like to know who's joining my party.
He has only been with us a few weeks. He is inexperienced, but he came with a glowing recommendation from an academy in Salona.
Oh, glowing. Oh, you make a strong case for him.
That is surely a generous overstatement.
yeah, as I just said.
Surely we don't have time.
Oh, we've got plenty of time, Engferth.
A pupil of unnatural talent is the phrase I recall.
I see. Oh, well, having a wizard such as that in our party can only be a boon. Perhaps he could show a wizard like me a thing or two, eh? Fedoran enjoying this moment of awkwardness far too much. There's a bit of Nadog rubbing off on him already.
It seems he was loved and regarded by almost all his instructors, though misunderstood, I gathered, by his fellow students.
I cannot imagine why.
The old Animancer rolls her eyes.
Really, this helpful stranger surely has more important things to worry about.
The tips of Alos' ears are bright red. He glares at you. Impressive, I say, especially since he doesn't sound Valian.
That's quite a...
Students come from all over the world to study animancy in the Republics, especially since it is still forbidden in places like Adir.
But Engfeth's story is especially sad.
Is it?
He was only a boy when both his parents died in a fire.
Oh, what a... Oh, gosh.
He came to the Deerwood and lived at the manor of a wealthy older uncle until he also died.
Oh, what a tragic tale. I am so sorry. Egfith, was it? About...
In a fire.
Another fire? Oh dear, how unfortunate.
If that's all, then perhaps we should be off.
Right, well, I think I've heard enough tales about this Engfith. I think I'll take him. As you say, he could well be very useful. I'll take him off your hands, shall I? He says with a smirk. Gives us a quick smile.
Be careful, I'm Miko.
She gives Alos' hand a quick squeeze before backing away.
I shall try.
Alos nods at her before leading you a short distance away. Oh, here we go.
Thank you for your discretion.
Discretion?
I'm certain you have many questions, but I fear they must wait until we're off this island.
Yes, well, I particularly liked the wealthy old uncle part.
It seemed like a convenient story. Besides, you do have the oldest soul of anyone I know.
Well, we'll talk later.
Indeed.
Right, well, we're probably not going to use Aloth very often in the party as a wizard ourselves, and as I've just mentioned, it's going to take a little while for Fedoran to trust this guy. He's been out of sight, out of mind for 5 years. First time we've seen him since we finished our adventures all those years ago. And yeah. Now I am going generally single class characters with the story characters, but seeing as we're already a wizard, I don't actually mind trying Aloth as something else. I don't exactly know what. But I've never ever played a battle mage, and I think battle mages can be quite powerful. But I'm thinking, do we need another fighter? We don't have a rogue in the party, for instance, so maybe a wizard rogue, Spellblade, might be better. I'm going to try Spellblade. I've got we've got Nadog if we need any more fighters, or we've got Barbarian fighter, we've got Adair as a pure fighter. I think we've got Palagina as a paladin also. So I'm thinking DPS, rogue, wizard will be better synergy with the entire party as a whole. So we'll try that out. But yeah, Spellblade could be good fun. Might give us a reason to actually put him in the party in the first place. Right, but he can sit in the roster for now, because we ain't shifting any of these guys for Aloth right now. So that works out quite well for us, because yeah, we can keep our new custom created characters a little bit longer. But everything that I kind of suspected came to pass. These guys could be beaten without fighting them, and we did get another story character. So yeah, that's pretty nifty. But who is this?
Well, I'll see it done.
Anything else?
We will remain here to see to our dead.
Okay, so we're done here.
Yeah.
Pretty much. There's just one place left that we haven't cleared out, and that is the Ancient Training Hall. Now I don't know what time we're on, because this is the recording timer is not on my screen at the second. So I think we're probably just short of the hour mark. I don't know if going in here is going to take some time. So I'm just going to pop my head in, do a little tiny bit of stealthy, and if it looks overly large, then we'll do this at the start of the next session. But I don't think it is overly large, you know. I don't think it is. So that being said, Let's try out our new
Sharp eyes and keen ears. I shall.
stealthy Remgrem character, who actually has identified a trap for us. So we've got
as you like.
training dummies, more traps. Nadog shall have to help us with that. Nice.
As you wish. We're not alone.
So we came in here, we saw that there was some skeletons up here. Yeah, this place isn't very big at all. I don't think we're going to be in any sort of trouble here. Skeletal Warriors, very resistant to pierce damage. But we do have alternative attacks with most of our characters, so I'm not that concerned. Right, here comes a Skeleton Warrior, which armor 8, actually quite resistant to slash. Weak to lightning attack. I don't think we're going to need to overly buff up here. I'm not going to. We're just going to sort of attack with everything we've got. And that should be enough, right? Ooh, I don't know, you know. He looks pretty nifty. Okay. Frenzy. Barrage. Let's just be careful. Let's not get too carried away with ourselves here. He's immune to pierce, resistance to slash, weak to crush. Should have put the Morning Star on with the dare, perhaps. Lightning we don't have. We'll try a Necrotic Lance. And a dare we'll try a knockdown after he's done the barrage, hasn't he now, I think? Yeah, so we'll go with a knockdown. Okay. Now dog has activated Frenzy. Right, good. Barrage next. Right. Attack! He's now cast the... I'm going to go interdiction here with her. Weaken them a touch. It's a good job we didn't move any closer forward, isn't it? Look at the trap right there. I think he's casting that. Yeah, he's cast it. Right, just to have him pull back a touch. See, Nature's Vigor gives us an extra power level with these spells, so we should be using that before casting those. Oh, jeez, there's more of these guys than I thought. Right, Spawlings might need to come out here. Nature's Vigor first. Spawling's a beast spell. It's a plant spell, yeah, so an extra power level if we cast Nature's Vigor. Right, Nature's Vigor. Right there. Fedoran. These things are difficult to hit. Oh my god. Skeletal Sorcerer. Right, I think we underestimated this situation, didn't we? I'm going to end the session on another flipping death at this rate. I don't believe it. Okay, he's going down. He's going down. Where's he going? Right, this is a problem. Joti, pick him up. Okay, that's fine. Right, now Spawlings. Cast them in and amidst the enemy. Fedoran. Slicken. Definitely would be helpful right now. Right. Holy Radiance. Right, we've got Spawlings coming. So Nadog is still discipline barraged, he's still frenzied for another 4 seconds. Anything else that we want to do with him? Maybe knockdown? Give us a bit of the breathing room. Adair is still... Adair's lost his He's lost that. But we'll keep going with the knockdowns here. Yeah, one of the warriors has fallen. Oh, look at Nadog, he's loving it, isn't he? He's absolutely flipping loving it. That's right, Spirit Shift. And help out. Nice. So how much damage bestiary gain? Remember to engage Skeletal Warrior in melee. Oh, it's Zoti that killed him. Constant recovery heals. Okay, that's looking good.
After him.
Skeletal Sorcerer is suffering at the hands of the spawnings, I think.
No one noticed that, right?
Nobody noticed, you're fine. Nobody noticed a damn thing. Just a little friendly heal. Slicken's still working. Maybe a missile attack just to soften. Come on. Come on.
Darkness flows in the light.
There we go. Knock this guy down, he's causing too much damage. Where's Nadog? Same. Double knockdown attempt here. Joti, we're gonna get an injury here. Put yourself in a bubble, love. If you can, just put yourself in a bubble. Put yourself in a bubble. Who cast that?
Light wanes.
Right, she's bubbled herself. She should be okay. Sorcerer's going down. Warrior's going down. He's now out of Spirit Shift form. He's engaged already though, so keep attacking. I think she's... is she leaving withdraw if we move her? Possibly. Oh no, it just says that we can't move because she's in withdraw. That's fine. Right, good. Got there in the end.
Well, leave it to me. I'll take care of it.
Phew. Okay. Those are... Ooh, fine robe. And a Skeletal Wizard's Grimoire. Oh, well, these are all things to look at when we get back to the safety of Port Margay. I think those fine robes may well be something that Fedoran puts on in the not too distant future.
Yes, to whispers and shadows.
Just a bit more scouting for those dastardly traps. There can't be another level here, sure. Oh, this is just the way to where we've seen, I think. Yeah, to this side of it.
Yes, I'll see it done. Yes, certainly.
Very good. Let's keep moving.
What do you need?
Yes.
Just ooh, good grief! The amount of traps here is quite frightening.
Leave it to me.
So as you can quite clearly see, our 2 additional party members are proving their weight in gold, not only for helping us fight, but for detecting traps and disarming the traps. We wouldn't have had that potential with the party of 3 that we initially had. So this has definitely been a good call by Fedoran, of course. Didn't tell his party members that he was told by Berath to head out and do this. Keeping that little minor detail to himself. It was surely his
See why not?
His assessment of the situation. Right.
Yeah.
Mace, large shield, and gauntlets of accuracy.
Yeah.
Right.
What is it?
We'll distribute all the new loot and stuff when we get out of this hellhole.
Uh-huh. Hey.
I think we're done.
Keeping an eye out.
You must gather before venturing forth.
Okay, so there we go, folks. We have done it. We have cleared the Engwithan dig site, and we have made it out in one piece. A new party member has joined our ranks, a familiar face, and now we are in a position to head back to Port Margay to report in. All in all, a success, I'd say. The combat needs a bit of tweaking, but Fedoran is rusty. It's been 5 years, alright? So, join me in the next session, when we shall be in Port Margay, and we shall see how the story develops from there. Until then, see you soon.